Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be recapping the NFL Week 10 games of this week. Kind of going through, giving about 30 seconds to a minute, kind of recapping the game of kind of how I think it went. Do I think it was a good scenario, bad scenario for each team? What I think for each team's future, and so forth. These are my opinions on kind of how I think the games went. So if you want to leave your opinion down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. And also, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to go ahead and drop a big fat like, feel free to do so. And without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got the Panthers and the Bears. This was a snore fest. I don't really want to talk about this game much other than to say there was some defense. There was not any offense. Bryce Young played okay. Justin Fields did not play for the Bears. Tyson Bagman had to play. Both teams showed why they're going to be the number one pick. For the Panthers, they were trying to win because they're trying to see what they have in Bryce Young. For the Bears, they didn't really give a fuck if they won or lost, because if you win, you're pushing the Panthers lower down to get the number one pick, and they don't get that pick. You do. And for the Bears, if you lose and the Panthers win, Bears still have a better chance then to go get the number one pick themselves. And I mean, looking at the standings, Carolina, who fucking cares? And Bears, I mean, who fucking cares? We got the Texans and the Bengals. This was actually a really exciting game, going all the way through. There were some highs, some lows. I thought the Texans were going to run away with it in the end. They were up by 10 with like 5 minutes to go. But then CJ Stroud, right after Joe Burrow just threw a pick, CJ Stroud throws an interception. He throws the interception, Bengals go down, they get the score. Then right after, Texans, they end up giving the ball right back to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm thinking, okay, can Joe Burrow go down here and get a touchdown? They get the ball inside the 5, and I'm thinking, oh my god, here we go. Then what happened? They don't even get the touchdown, because why? Tyler Boyd has fucking butterfingers. He drops the ball, they don't get the touchdown, they get the field goal. But CJ Stroud comes out there, and the saying that's going around right now with CJ Stroud when he goes for these late game drives, he's walking the fucking dog. And he did just that. He walked the Texans offense right down that field. They scored the field goal, and everybody, I think, in the sports world is thinking, what just happened? Now, there has been talk about if CJ Stroud should be in the MVP conversation. If you want to try and say he could be in the conversation, maybe, but the people out there that are saying that he should be the front runner, I don't see that. In the conversation, you could try and say that Rookie of the Year, 100%, he's already got that award on lock. In the MVP conversation, maybe you could float around. I need to see more out of him, but like I said, I need to see more. But looking at the standings, I said it a few weeks ago, I think Jacksonville should be winning this division, but now Jacksonville better watch out. Houston's creeping up on them. And then whenever it comes to Cincinnati, they got Thursday Night Football coming up. If Cincinnati loses the Ravens on Thursday Night Football, it's going to be a different story in the AFC North. We get the Browns and the Ravens. I already have a full breakdown of this game. I'm a Browns fan, so I did a full breakdown. If you want to watch that video, it'll be right there. I went through kind of from start to finish of the game, did a full breakdown in depth of the entire game. So if you want to watch that, feel free to do so. But this game was so crazy. It was highs, some lows. The Ravens got out early. It was 14-0. I thought, oh my god, fuck this game. I'm going away. Then we scored a field goal. Then they scored a field goal. Then we scored a field goal. Then we blocked a field goal. Then we got another field goal. And at halftime, I was thinking to myself, why am I a fan of this team? But then luckily by the fourth quarter, the Browns were able to turn it on. They got the touchdown. They got the pick six. We got the field goal at the end of the game. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm on cloud fucking 9 right now. This is awesome. And it was like the best day ever. Now, a lot of Ravens fans are freaking out, wondering how the fuck did this happen? I don't think you really lost the game super badly. It was just the finishing of the game, and everybody on ESPN, the Fox Sports, CBS, they've all been saying it as well. The Ravens' big problem is they can't finish. That is their problem. If they just finish the game, that would be their best thing ever. And when I say finish the game, I mean like when they have the ball on offense there at the end of the game. They were up 31-30 when we missed the extra point. If you just go get a couple first downs, the game's over. They didn't do that. Then whenever they gave the ball back to us, you think, okay, well, we have a really good defense. Let's go finish them. The problem is you don't really have anybody on your defensive line, a linebacker, somebody that can finish the game. I mean, you have Clowney, you have Roquan Smith, but those guys were not going to be coming up big time clutch in the end. Looking at the division, Baltimore, they're in a good spot. They went on Thursday Night Football. I think they're still in a good spot to try and win this division. When it comes to Cleveland, they got a game against Pittsburgh to go possibly 7-3. We'll see. We got Washington and Seattle. This was a pretty interesting game. I thought Sam Howell played probably his best game as a Washington Commander of his career. Both offenses played perfect. Not really many mistakes. There were some times where the defenses did step up. I thought Washington, they played a pretty good game on defense. It was just the very end of the game that Washington scored with that touchdown pass by Sam Howell. I thought, oh my god, we're going to overtime. But it was like just in the end of the game, I think it was a pass interference that went wrong, and Seattle easily got in field goal range, and the game was over from there. I'm just now noticing now, if you had Robinson, the running back from Washington, on your fantasy team, you had a good day. But I will say this about both teams. Seattle is going to the playoffs, I think 100%. They'll be in as a wild card team probably, unless they can take over the division from San Francisco. I don't see that happening, but it's going to be a battle there. And when it comes to Washington, obviously they're not winning the division, but I still think they could be a wild card team. It's starting to get to the point where now coaching is really mattering, and Ron Rivera just ain't it. We have the Germany game. This game was boring as fuck. It was the Colts and the Patriots, 10-6. I'm not going to talk about it too much, mainly for the fact that it was, I mean, if you like just boring, running the ball, not really anything else going on, maybe you like this game. But I mean, other than the first quarter, when you had the Patriots go down, they got a field goal, then the Colts got the ball right back, they were able to go down and get a touchdown, and then after that, it was like nothing else happened. The entire second quarter, nothing happened. The entire third quarter, nothing happened. Then in the late third quarter and the early fourth quarter, Patriots, as you can see, they drove 89 yards, 15 plays. It took them literally all the way to the 12-minute mark of the fourth quarter to score a field goal. A field goal. They do that. Colts get the ball back about 8:54, and they score a field goal. And then I think the Patriots had twice to score a touchdown at the end of the game. They couldn't even get down to field goal range because I think Mac Jones threw the pick when they got down into the red zone, and he looked like he had a tight end going to the back of the end zone. If Mac Jones would have actually thrown the ball, he would have gone there. But instead, it looked like he was just he got hit when he threw it. But if you look at the replay, nobody touched him. So that one didn't make sense. So you got a pick there. Somehow you get the ball back later on. You had Bailey Zappi in the game, the backup quarterback, and he goes for a fake spike, throws the ball to no Patriots in sight, except for like 5 Colts defenders. That game didn't make sense, but looking at the standings, Indianapolis, they still have a shot to win the division. Not really going to be betting on them, mainly for the fact that they're still with their backup quarterback, Gardner Minshew. Even though Minshew has been balling, I'm going to give credit where credit deserves. He's been balling, but I wouldn't bet on it. And the Patriots, Belichick, do you really enjoy coaching when you're 2-8? Do you really enjoy it? We got the Saints and the Vikings. Everybody thought the Vikings were done for earlier on the year whenever they had I think they were 1-3, 1-2. Everybody thought they were done for. Ever since Kirk Cousins started playing better and then he went down, and now with Josh Dobbs, they've won 2 games. This Vikings team is something different. Josh Dobbs has been balling. They've been doing good. The offense has looked pretty good with Josh Dobbs out there. I think Derek Carr did not play in the Saints game, so Jameis Winston had to take over, and obviously you can see 2 interceptions. Jameis Winston does Jameis Winston things. It was 27-19, pretty basic game. It wasn't anything super electric that you needed to watch, other than it was just a pretty good old-fashioned game. Looking at the standings, New Orleans, they're still on top of the division. I don't know who the fuck's going to win that division, because one week it looks like New Orleans is going to win it, then it looks like Tampa's getting back into things, then Atlanta looks like they were going to win it earlier on there, because they were 3-1, now they're 4-6, so I don't know what the hell's going on. And then when you look at Minnesota earlier on the year, we thought, this is Detroit's division to lose, and we still think that, but who fucking knows? Maybe Minnesota could fuck around and try to win this division. Look at the Packers and the Steelers. This was one of those games where it's obviously I'm a Browns fan, I'm rooting against the Steelers, but every single time I looked at this game, I'm like, the Steelers offense looks like shit as usual. The Packers are moving the ball. How the fuck did the Packers lose? And I guess it kind of goes to here where the Packers were up in the game. Steelers got down there. They got a field goal. They went down, got another field goal. Then in the late part of the game, I think Jordan Love, he had a throw to the left side of the end zone, and he threw it, but the ball just got tipped off the receiver's hands into a safety's hands for a pick. Then in the late part of the game, 19-23, you would think, okay, you're at the 20, 25-yard line, I think they were. You got to get this ball in the end zone for the touchdown. The throw that he made looked like it was nowhere near a receiver. It didn't even look like, oh, you have a receiver coming across here. There's 2 safeties here. Maybe if I just throw it as hard as I can in between here, it'll get to him. No, there was no receiver anywhere near. And it's kind of going to show you, long story short, Packers, they're not going to the playoffs. I'm going to get that out of the way. But when it comes to the Steelers, long story short, the things people need to realize with the Steelers, the way you beat the Steelers, don't make stupid fucking mistakes like interceptions when you're throwing the ball to where there's not even a receiver in the area. Don't fumble the ball when there's nobody around you, like a muff punt, for example. And when you're on defense, don't let a guy just run straight past you behind you like on a deep post route. If you don't allow those things to happen, you have a chance against the Steelers because their offense is putrid as long as you play a nice, sound defense. And when it comes to your offense, just control the ball, get down the field, and you can win. I've been saying that for weeks, and for some reason, the Packers don't understand it. Other teams have not really understand it, and I don't get it. Going forward with the season, like I said, Green Bay, they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. When it comes to Pittsburgh, they're in the same boat as Cleveland. Whoever wins this Sunday between Pittsburgh and Cleveland goes to first place in the division. As long as Cincinnati beats Ravens on Thursday Night Football. If the Ravens win, a winner of this game will be second place. If the Pittsburgh and Browns winner goes to first place, it would have to be because Cincinnati beats Baltimore. This game was a little bit boring. I'm not really going to talk about it much. Tennessee lost 6-20. Baker Mayfield played good. Will Levis did not. Defenses both played pretty mid. When it comes to the Titans, I think they're in rebuild mode. They've already kind of, in a way, come out and said it. Derrick Henry did not do anything in this game. When it comes to the Buccaneers, they're trying to win the division. I think they have a chance, but I don't see it happening. Let's just get moving on. When it comes to Tennessee, they're 3-6. They ain't going anywhere. And when it comes to Tampa Bay, they have a chance to go to the playoffs because the division is just so bad. I just need to see them. They're going to have to start making a push because they started off the season 3-1. Everybody thought this team looks really good. Now they've lost a bunch of games. It doesn't look good for them. Another game I'm not going to really talk about much. 34-3. 49ers beat the shit out of the Jaguars. I thought this game was going to be exciting. I thought it was going to be awesome. Long story short, Purdy went out there and just put on a massacre on the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence looked like shit. George Kittle went off. The big storyline. Christian McCaffrey didn't score a touchdown. He had like, what, a 19-game streak of scoring a touchdown? He didn't score. They, at the end of the game, everybody thought it's 34-3. Why are the starters out there? They were out there, especially Christian McCaffrey, because they were trying to get him a touchdown. Like, legit, there was moments in that game where I feel like they were getting McCaffrey a play design for him to get the ball, but they were covering him up, and it was just letting George Kittle and Juszczyk and Deebo Samuel go wide open right down the middle for touchdowns. And Brock Purdy, obviously, he's not going to turn those stores down. But kind of wrapping up this game, Niners, they still have a good chance to win the division and maybe get the number 2 seed in the whole NFC. When it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, I said it earlier, they better watch out for Houston. We got Atlanta and Arizona. This is kind of an interesting game because it was the first game that Kyler Murray came back to play after tearing his ACL. And Kyler, he did have an interception, but when it comes to throwing the ball, he looked okay. When it comes to him running the ball, he was there. He's an electric player. Thank God he didn't play against the Browns, or else I would have cried myself to sleep if we would have lost to him. When it comes to the Cardinals, I think at this point, I thought were going to be going for the number 1 overall pick. Now it looks like they're going to just try and see what they have in Kyler Murray. And I'm pretty sure they're going to win at least 4 or 5 games with Kyler Murray over the last about 8 games. Over these last about 7 or 8 games, they're going to win a couple games. So they're not going to be going for the number 1 overall pick. When it comes to the Falcons, I obviously thought they were going to be trying to go win this division. Now they've already benched Desmond Ridder. Tyler Heineke is the quarterback. I realize Brian Robinson or Bijan Robinson is getting the carries now. He's running the ball, but it's a little bit late for that. In the end of the game, I thought the Falcons could have won this game, but Kyler Murray, he come back from an ACL and he's already leading game-winning drives. Looking at the standings, Atlanta, I said it earlier, they can win the division. They just need to get their fucking head out of their asses. And when it comes to Arizona, they're not going for the number 1 overall pick anymore. I don't really know what they're doing. This game was fucking fireworks. This game was fucking awesome. We got the Lions, we got the Chargers. This game was like back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. One team scored, another team scored. One team scored, another team scored. This was the kind of game where I thought maybe the Lions would lose because the Chargers, they have an offense, but they don't really have a defense. Lions, they have an offense a little bit. They're more present on their defense, and I thought maybe the Chargers would be able to just put up enough points. Chargers would be able to get up to about maybe 27 point. Maybe the Lions would be down around the 20 point mark, and the game would be over from there because Chargers maybe could get a big time stop with their defense in this kind of game. I was big time wrong. Jared Goff showed up, 23-33, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns. Justin Herbert played good. He just had that one interception that cost them. At the very end of the game, let's fast forward there. It was 38-38. The Lions could have kicked the field goal and left the Chargers with, I think, like a minute something to go. But they decided to go for it. 4th and 2 from like the 29-yard line, 30-yard line. They went for it. They could have taken their 3 points and put their faith in their defense to go out there and shut down the Chargers. Dan Campbell said, fuck that. I'm going to get this first down. We're taking some knees. We're kicking this field goal. And if we go to overtime, we go to overtime. But I'm not giving that asshole over there, Justin Herbert, a chance to take this and go win this thing. They get the field goal. They win the game. And people need to really start respecting the Lions right now. Looking at the standings, Lions, they are 7-2. They're sitting pretty good right now. When it comes to the AFC West, Chargers, they're 4-5. I think they're fine. When it comes to them getting the wild card, they're going to have to really rip off a couple wins in a row. When it comes to the division, that's already done for. When it comes to the wild card, they still have a shot. We get the Giants and the Cowboys. I'm not going to talk about this game really at all. This was just a straight up beatdown. Giants, we already know they're horrible. Cowboys, everybody's hyping. The Cowboys fans are hyping up with this game, looking at it like, look at what Dak Prescott did. 404 yards, 26-35, 4 touchdowns. Wow. He did it against the Giants. Why aren't you doing this shit against teams like the 49ers? Long story short, Giants are not going anywhere. They're not going to the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. They're going to get the number 1 pick probably. When it comes to the Cowboys, long story short for all of you to summarize the Cowboys fans and how they react. When they do good, we're going to the Super Bowl. When they do bad, they don't want to show themselves. And then also when it comes to the actual team itself, when they are doing good, especially against bad teams, they're out here just talking shit, chest out. They want to, yeah, you thought we were bad. How about now? You look at us. We're good. And then whenever they play a really good team and then they get their asses spanked, they walk around like, yeah, we just didn't play the best football we could. I mean, what can you do? It's like, because you're not good. Wrap it up with this. Dallas, you're 6-3. Could you still win the division? You have a chance. I'm not giving it to you. I still think Philly's going to win this division. But going forward, I mean, wild card 100%. Division, we'll see. We got 2 more games to go. We got the Sunday Night Football game. We got the Jets and the Raiders. The Raiders, as we know, they fired their head coach a couple weeks ago, McDaniels. Ever since they fired him, they have had a different attitude. They're getting the ball to Devontae Adams. They're running the ball a little bit more. They're really getting this offense looking like a little bit better. I realize they only scored 16 points, but when you watch the game itself, the offense does look better. The defense is playing better. Now I realize you played Zach Wilson, but even with that, I think the Jets offense, they were playing a little rusty, it seemed like at times. Like, it seemed like they didn't really know where to go with the ball. Zach Wilson, at times, like, he sees the throw sometimes and he just misses them. In this game, he wasn't even seeing throws. I think the Jets defense, they still play good. It's just Zach Wilson. He is like a very funny quarterback. One week, he looks like he's going to play good. Next week, he just does not look himself. Kind of recap the game. The Jets looked like they were going to get back into this game at the very end of the game. And I think it was either the third quarter or the fourth quarter when Zach Wilson threw that interception. A very dumb interception he threw, but it kind of cost the game, I think. Looking at the standings of the Jets, I thought at one point maybe they could keep this ship alive. Maybe they can be about 500 whenever Aaron Rodgers comes back. Now it's not looking like that. They're probably done for the year. And when it comes to Vegas, they're 5-5. No division, I agree on that. But wild card, maybe. Last up, we got the Monday Night Football game. We got the Broncos and the Bills. This was an interesting game. Let's just fast forward to the very end. What the fuck is the Bills doing with 12 men on the field on a special teams? And the thing that's funny about these past few weeks is if we look at the team of Buffalo, they fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. You want to know why they fired him? Because they saw the offense was not looking good. If they would have won this game, they've been 6-4. I guarantee he was not fired. But instead, because that 12 men on the field, it ended up costing them. They missed the Broncos. They actually missed the field goal. If they would have missed the field goal, Ken Dorsey might still have a job. But instead, with the 12 men on the field, he missed the field goal. They got a second chance. He nailed that sucker. Look at the entirety of the game. People said Russell Wilson is looking really, really good. I mean, he played good-ish. I mean, he made some short throws, intermediate throws. He looked good. Everybody always talked about let Russ cook, throw the ball deep. He didn't throw the ball deep that much. And then flip it over to the Buffalo side of things. I mean, I kind of understand why they want Ken Dorsey gone, because connect the dots. Ever since Ken Dorsey became the offensive coordinator last year, Josh Allen has not looked himself. He threw 2 interceptions in this game. He was not looking good. They running the ball pretty well in this game. It just came down to that last drive. And it's like they made the touchdown. They kicked the extra point. Their defense, in a way, also kind of sold. And I think that does play into the fact that they're missing, I think, 2 secondary guys in White and Hyde, or Poyer, one of them. And they're also missing their middle linebacker, Matt Milano. Going forward, Denver not winning the division, 100%. But they are looking better. Could they make a wild card run? They're going to need to stack wins, but it's doable. And when it comes to Buffalo, I still think they can win their division. Miami, they are a good team, but I think Buffalo has a win already over Miami right now. So Buffalo still has a shot to get the division. But other than that, it's going to recap my Week 10 NFL game recaps. If you wanted to enjoy today's video and you want to go ahead and drop a big like on today's video, feel free to do so. If you had a different opinion on kind of how any of these games went, if you're a fan of any of these teams and you want to leave your opinion on kind of how your favorite team's game went down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. If you're a fan of the content that I am posting here and you stayed to the entirety of today's video, thank you very much, and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Donald Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.